So thank you for joining us, Alexander. It's just a case of kind of chatting over what Global Savings Group had seen over Cyber Weekend, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just taking it from there, really. Do you want to just do a general introduction to begin with?
Thank you, Nick, for having me on your show here. I think this is such a great opportunity. So I'm Alexander Hole from Global Savings Group, also known as GSG. So you'll probably be hearing me refer to ourselves as GSG throughout the webinar here. GSG is in charge we run lots of what we call commerce content platforms, so essentially savings destinations online. We run that in 20 plus markets across the globe. So my day-to-day role is sort of to look after our new business opportunities, whether that spans from onboarding new global accounts into also looking at any potential new opportunities or products or anything that could be interesting for our millions of users that come to our sites every single month.
Just from a personal side, obviously I'm Nick, Performance Account Director at Silverbean. We are a specialist affiliate and partner marketing agency managing global brands. So naturally, a lot of our clients work with Global Savings Group. And today we just kind of want to chat over the trends and what we're seeing in the market, really. So I'll kind of start off just by asking in regards to kind of what on-site performance trends that you guys seen over Cyber Weekend.
Yeah, so it's been now we just came out of Black Friday and Cyber Weekend, which obviously is, I think, in our industry especially pushing. We have a lot of coupons and deals and savings on our platforms. So this is like the biggest day of the year. So there's a lot of work goes into this day as well. Essentially, we start planning Black Friday and Cyber Weekend a whole year in advance. So now the team is sort of just looking at the numbers and everything from this year, but then very soon they will start looking in for 2021. So that's going to be quite exciting. So overall, this year we saw quite impressive performance. Overall, I think if you look out into the market, there is obviously a lot more new customers online compared to previous years. So we saw, especially looking at the UK, for instance, we saw like twice as many users coming or sessions on our websites in the UK. These numbers were similar in really all our big markets. Germany, similar story. US, similar story. France also had a great year. So we just saw so much traffic, which I think we expected to see more traffic than usual. But I think we were a little taken aback that it was so much. Like we literally doubled our traffic this year compared to previous years.
That's really interesting in regards to kind of like obviously the volume and new customers coming through as well. I think similar as kind of from an agency point of view, again, kind of some of our brands have done phenomenally well throughout the year, but obviously it was just kind of replicated within Cyber Weekend as well.
I think there's something very interesting here, because we have, one thing is Cyber Weekend and Black Friday, but it's also, and I'm sure you have seen that as well, Nick, that so we've actually seen increased sort of traffic and transactions on our platforms throughout all of Q4. So what we saw this year compared to previous years is sort of that it was actually spread out as well. So we've seen ever since we started the quarter, so back in October, we started already starting to see more traffic than usual on our platforms, which I think is also sort of quite interesting. I also have an interesting share for people listening out there that we have seen a 27% increase in the number of deals and vouchers on our pages. So our editorial teams have really been busy this year scouting new opportunities, new deals and savings opportunities for our users, and been putting them on our sites globally. 27%, that's quite a lot. We talk millions and millions of deals on our pages.
Yeah, I mean, one thing as well is like the diversification of the offers that are coming through as well now. I kind of feel like maybe it's 5 or 6 years ago, the offers were always in regards to discount on money off certain spend and things like that. Whereas now we're looking at kind of gift card redemption. There's a lot more clever ways that brands are actually promoting rather than kind of just a typical discount off as well. So there's a lot more incentives to be had and a lot more ways to promote. Are you guys kind of feeling the same there as well?
I totally agree. I totally agree. So we launched a few years back, what we call rewards, which essentially is gift cards. And we see this as a very good alternative to providing a coupon code or sort of a regular discount, essentially giving people an incentive to perform a certain purchase. What is interesting, and I think I can say this now because we've been in this market for a few years already, is that we originally thought that we would launch this product mainly for like telcos, like the likes of Vodafone, that they would use this because it's tough for them to discount their subscription plans and similar. What we have seen though is that it's not just the likes of Vodafone and insurance companies, etc., that are sort of using these methods. We're actually seeing this being used quite broadly across all categories, whether that is travel, retail, fashion, anything. So it's become quite a popular offering, especially if you're launching, I would say, new products, or you don't want to sell your products too cheap. Maybe you still want to give the user that incentive to really push your products out there. So it's something we've definitely seen too.
Yeah, it's something that I'm really interested in as well. I think there's a lot to be said in regards to kind of the gift card market. I think there are kind of cases within the UK now, especially this week with Debenhams and Topshop, obviously, in the situation that they are. And there is a growing discussion in regards to kind of gift cards being used there. But in general, I think the trend is on the up in regards to kind of gift card sales as a new revenue stream for brands. But then on the other side of that is gift card redemption. And there's some really good stats out there to show that even when a gift card is utilized and the average order value is larger and they're using the gift card to kind of redeem on site, but then what they're doing is they're buying a lot more within the basket as well. So there's a lot more to be said around kind of gift cards and things like that. And obviously the way that brands can promote that as well to attract a new customer.
Absolutely.
Just kind of going back to kind of Cyber Weekend and the trends as well. It was just a case of kind of what did you guys see per region, and was there any certain categories that kind of performed well for you guys as well?
So I think I have a few sort of highlights for you here. So what we saw, a little interesting, obviously we are still in the midst of this global pandemic, the COVID crisis affecting everyone out there. So very interestingly, we saw that the average order value actually sort of dropped pretty much across most of our markets. A few sort of outliers, smaller markets like Switzerland and stuff, so increases in average order value. But if we look at sort of the big markets out there, we saw about 5% decrease. So in the UK it was 5%, Germany 6% decrease, US down 9%. So overall, we saw people placing more orders in the sense that we had many more customers than what we usually do. On the other side, people were spending a little less than usual, which I guess we don't have a definitive answer of why that is, but I think one of the reasons that we do believe is that this could have a relation to essentially COVID and what people have available. So they might have chosen to take advantage of this Cyber Weekend and all the deals and the discounts, but they've also turned down the budget just a little bit this year, just because of the uncertainty that exists in the market.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally just for me personal shopping as well over the Cyber Weekend. But what I found as well was that the offers for certain brands, especially within sport, for example, they were a lot more stronger in comparison to kind of what we've seen the years before. The other thing was that there's brands now kind of looking to push people towards app as well, which is always an interesting conversation. But there was some brands there that were offering an extra incentive to kind of shop through the app, which was again kind of lowering the average order value maybe. And then as well as that, then they were offering things like free delivery as well. And all of them things combined, I mean, there was one retailer that I think I put through 5 orders through over a weekend just because I kept on going back and back and back because it was free delivery and the price was getting lower and lower as well. So Maybe is
I
that just
thought, and I
me
would
that's
say
having a few
you need to
things
have
down?
placed a lot of transactions through us if you wanted to upset our statistics. But that might have been how people have been shopping overall. I don't think that's unlikely at all. We
Yeah.
did see, and I would say the big sort of winners in terms of categories. I would say obviously we define it as multi-category. So these are the big, I would say the Amazons and similar, right, that sell everything. They usually always perform pretty well. In addition to that, it was fashion and technology. I think the big loser, of course, which is no surprise, it's still travel. So for us, travel was down 70%
Yeah.
over the year. We didn't expect it to be a big winner. What is interesting, and this might be very, it's a little, we're still looking into exactly what this is and trying to analyze the data closer. But if we look at the UK, travel actually contributed to 7% of our total sales for the brand on our platform, which compared to other markets is quite a lot, where we saw 2 to 3% contribution. So we are still trying to figure out exactly why that is and sort of what kind of travel people have been booking. But essentially, we saw travel being having a bigger slice we might actually have expected, which personally to me still comes surprising because I'm not the one booking and going on any holidays anytime soon.
No, I was. I mean, just alone in travel there. Just to kind of touch on that, then there's one kind of publisher that I always refer to, and that's Skift. So Skift are a really good kind of travel and news to be shared with clients and things like that. Like it's a really good resource. And one thing that they mentioned was in regards to kind of government interventions. And as soon as government interventions were kind of discussed within individual markets, it then kind of seen a spike in regards to actually activity. And this was for the first lockdown. And obviously within the UK, then last week there was the talk in regards to kind of the change from the full lockdown into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So combining that with Black Friday, then that might have then had the effect of a surge in bookings and things like that as well, especially for staycations and things like that. So
it could very well be. It could very well be.
The other thing as well is just from a Silverbeam client base, really, is that we've seen that continuation of trend in regards to home brands performing well over Black Friday. A lot more people are investing, obviously, in the household and decorations and things like that. So our clients did do well within the home sector. And as well as that, as beauty and retail in itself as well. Our beauty brands seeing kind of phenomenal growth overall, as well as our retail clients as well. So they were like the three main sectors that we seen the growth in there, really.
We saw something very interesting, which was exactly on the back of what you said there, sort of with the beauty category. So we've seen our jewelry, and I think that also includes jewelry and beauty, sort of that whole segment there. Like year over year, we grew that channel or that category by 87%. So just now this is true. We saw growth across. Obviously, we saw growth across, right? More or less all sort of these bigger categories, but especially jewelry was in our top 3 of categories that performed really well. Technology, I think technology is always a big winner, but we saw 166% growth in technology. So people have really been going at it for technology, and I think one of the theories we have is, or we're working with, is still that, considering people are spending less on travel, because overall we still saw that 70% drop in travel, there's obviously still some budget that was typically reserved for travel that is now being funneled into some of these other categories and being spent, as you said, on home or technology categories.
So obviously we were kind of we were both on a panel a couple of weeks ago, just in regards to kind of app and how that's kind of grew within 2020 within the affiliate channel. And what are your thoughts being a publisher as kind of brands do integrate app tracking, and how does that affect you guys?
So I think 2020 has really been the big year for app in the industry. So we have seen, growth of 1,500% since Jan till now. So that's quite impressive. Alone in so Black Friday and Cyber Weekend, we saw a 40% increase in terms of app transactions. So we have really, and that obviously comes, I think you mentioned it earlier, that we've been running for certain merchants, we've been running specific app campaigns. So we've been driving the user and giving them an additional incentive to choose the app over over mobile web or desktop. And I think this is where the industry is heading, right? There's so many opportunities related to app. If you're a brand, like if I was running a brand, or if I was Nike or anyone, I would want to have I would want to have a strong app where I can communicate directly with the user, and I can connect with them. I can collect information about them. There's so many advantages related to app. Why? I think we are right now pushing this topic so much because we know that these advantages are there for the brands, and now we want the brands to use us as a channel to really grow the app, grow the app for the brand overall. So it's been a tremendous year when it comes to app growth, and we have expectations that this will hopefully continue. Say in the next years to come. We've only really scratched the surface in terms of the number of advertisers that are leveraging affiliate marketing to drive users to their app.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One thing that I'm excited by really is the potential within app as well, both from a brand and publisher point of view. I think the networks are doing a good job in regards to kind of trying to advocate to brands in order to integrate app tracking to begin with. But then the benefits that come around to the brand as well, like we were talking about certain campaigns there, like Adidas, for example, they offered 15% off plus free delivery through app. Like the benefit to themselves is the amount of app downloads that they actually get as a brand. Like that will certainly help the team who are kind of actually targeted for app downloads. But then obviously the continuation and the revenue and the amount of repeat purchases and the increase in the average order value and things like that as well. Like it is one of them areas that I think 2021 for sure, it will continue to develop. And I think that what we'll see is a lot more medium to small brands now participating as well. I think 2020 probably seeing a lot of enterprise brands enter the space and utilising publishers to promote app. I think that will continue to roll out really, which is all exciting. What are your thoughts in regards to kind of obviously the brand having app activated within the affiliate channel? Like as a publisher, how does that then affect you in regards to kind of how you want to work with that brand as well?
So I think we as a GSG is a big global publisher, and we really want to go in and have a more strategic relationship with all our advertisers in general. So we want to support them not just in driving sales, but we really want to help them achieve some of their bigger KPIs, some of their bigger strategic ambitions. And one of them, as we see it, is getting people to download their app and build that relationship with the customer. So by advertisers or brands adopting and enabling app tracking in the affiliate channel, well, that allows us as a publisher to go in and actually work strategically with them on driving and pushing their app to our millions of users that come every single month to our platforms. And I think it's really, if you like you mentioned Adidas, and Adidas is doing such a great job. I myself, now I'm a bit of a Adidas loyalist. I do live in Germany, so Adidas is not far from here, their headquarters. So I myself shop at Adidas for every Black Friday. And this year I shopped in their app because I got I think I got additional 5% by using the app. And I'm collecting points in the Adidas app and so forth. So now they're building this whole relationship with me as a customer that obviously enforces that sort of loyalty to the brand. So I'm probably likely to continue shopping Adidas over Nike going forward. I think I think now, as you mentioned, a lot of brands have already come on board. That's what we've seen already. But there's still a lot of room to grow in terms of advertisers joining app tracking and enabling it. But we really look forward to having many more of these relationships where we can strategically work with the brands on growing their apps overall. So I think this is it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than app, what are the key initiatives that you guys are focusing on in 2021 just to drive value for brands as well?
So we keep investing in the sort of the user experience on our platforms. So we actually see that translating directly into value for the brands as well. That if people come to our platforms and they overall have a good user experience, that means there will be more users coming through, and that means our product as such is more valuable towards the advertiser. Now, in addition to that, we obviously also develop invest a lot in building better advertising solutions, if you like, for the brands. I think one of the ones that we are still pushing is our dynamic coupons, which we made a big push with dynamic coupons over the last 3 years. So it's not like a new solution anymore. We are, however, keep investing in this topic. Essentially, what that is that we allow the brands to do targeted coupons on our pages. So imagine you go to, now we mentioned Adidas before, but imagine you go to any store and you put something into your basket of that brand, and then you head out to look for a discount on one of our pages. And then we have the opportunity to surface a coupon that matches what is in that basket. So that could be, if you have £100 in them, then maybe we want to upsell that user to spend £120. So that way we're trying to drive additional value for the brand as well, that they sort of have that influence in saying we will actually want to give these discounts as incentives for people to do certain actions based on what they have in their basket. And then we talk gift cards already. A big thing is sort of our commerce content. So we invest, you will see especially in 2021, you will start seeing much more sort of commerce content coming from us. So essentially articles, inspirational content, trying to attack the user also higher in the funnel. And bring them out and bring different offerings there to our advertisers.
Sounds good. I think a lot of brands as well now are looking at kind of how to utilize publishers further up the funnel as well, as you say, in regards to motive development and research and kind of how to incentivize them to purchase as well. What strategies do you feel that will help brands to achieve their goals as well in 2021 then?
So I think obviously we've done a lot of thinking about this. 21 is like 2020 became such a crazy year, right? I think we all went in and we had all our plans. We kind of in March we had to scrap it all and start all over because everything was just completely different. And we've had a lot of discussions now about what is 21 going to be. I think one of the things that we have definitely learned from 2020 is that we can really not plan too far ahead. We're trying to plan in much more shorter intervals because there's still so much uncertainty out there. I think one thing that is certain is that we have so many users have been converted into online shopping for the first time. So they were so used to going to the store and do their shopping, whether that is trying on their jeans or doing grocery shopping. I myself has recently joined like online grocery shopping. I feel now I'm working in sort of in tech and in marketing, and I feel like I'm a little behind the curve. So actually for the first many months of the pandemic, I was still going to the grocery store once a week, and I carried home so much stuff because I wanted to reduce my interaction in the store. So instead of going twice, I would go once. And then finally, in that period of time, sort of the local offerings here when it comes to online groceries has managed to scale up their delivery staff and all of that. So they can actually meet demand, because obviously demand went up. So it was very hard to actually get a delivery slot. And now that's become easier. And honestly, now we've been doing this for a few months already. And I find it hard to imagine that I will ever want to go back to the grocery store. So I think when you're a brand and you're looking into 21, you need to consider that a lot of these changes in terms of habits, what has happened, like they are gonna, I think a lot of them are gonna stick, you know? So people have actually now grown comfortable with shopping online. It's sort of become the new normal. And I'm not so sure that even when the pandemic is over, whenever that is going to be, I think that's also still uncertain. Is that going to drive? I say, are people really going to come back to the stores in the same numbers as they used to, or will they? Say stay online and keep doing their grocery shopping and their fashion or whatever they're shopping online. So I think those are some of the big things you need to sort of keep an eye on. I have another thing here as well, which is there's really an argument for performance marketing, right? So I think we have all seen now, I think UK as well. I don't know what's the latest with your stimulus checks that are going out, but there's been pumped so much money by the governments all over the world into the respective economies to sort of keep unemployment low and make sure that people had, kept getting their paycheck coming in every month. And this might not hit us already in 21, but I think when you as a brand and you sit and look out and you're planning, how am I going to spend my marketing budget? I think that you should not be surprised if people will be a little hesitant in spending too much. We saw that already with the average order value going a little down, but also that a lot of people have actually know that they have lost their job this year, and a lot of people are actually struggling. And at some point, there will be this headache that societies and governments will have to deal with across. And that's also going to impact marketing budgets and retailers and brands in general. And this is obvious. And this here comes the argument then for why is performance marketing so interesting? Because you pay when a sale is done, right? So you actually can afford to invest without putting too much on the line, because you know you won't pay before the order has actually gone through and has been accepted. So I think as a strategy, that is what I would keep my eyes on if I was a brand out there and a marketing manager for a big brand looking into 21.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've seen as an agency really is that those brands that were pure e-commerce to begin with, like they've excelled in the last kind of 6 to 9 months. And what they're wanting to do really is to kind of push on and look at what the opportunity is within affiliate and partnerships to kind of increase their market share even further and to increase their revenue. There's them other brands that are kind of the split between retail, brick and mortar, and online. And I think for them, there's been a sudden realization that they need to put a lot more resource in regards to e-commerce to kind of reduce the risk, shall we say, in regards to what the business has had and where the revenue is going to come from moving forwards. So again, they're kind of investing further in affiliate and partnerships, which is always nice to see. And then the other thing is kind of the user. I mean, it's so hard to forecast from a brand perspective in regards to what 2021 is going to look like, especially given the trends and the impact that the economy's had already. But at the same time, then it goes back to your point in regards to online shopping habits. Like from my point of view, I think there's a stat there that if you keep on doing something over a 21-day period or something, it becomes a habit, and then it's hard to break that habit itself as well. I think in regards to kind of online shopping, although brands have seen sudden spikes year on year, if you looked at the performance like that, we are seeing that is continuing. And to be honest, like at what point does that kind of reduce, or does it kind of maintain like that? Because people are kind of shopping and doing more online as well. So it's an interesting one. No one's got kind of the playbook in regards to how it's going to play out. But I think from an agency point of view, then as you say, performance marketing in itself, affiliate and partnerships, I think it's only going to grow because the opportunities there for brands. There's so much untapped potential there. But then as well as that, the reduced risk factor in comparison to other digital marketing channels as well.
Exactly.
We're coming up towards an end here then, so it's just a case of what are your thoughts as brands are now preparing? Well, they've probably already prepared really in regards to Boxing Day, but what are your top tips in regards to kind of what you've learned over Cyber Weekend, Chinese Singles Day, and what can be put into it from a brand point of view for Boxing Day and the January sales?
So I think really the main highlight here is don't look at previous data, like don't look at last year and expect it to be just the same. We are not, from our end, where we see it, typically travel is a pretty big driver of our Boxing Day sales. And we are not we don't think that travel is going to be that big this year, even though it sounds like now there's going to be a vaccine out in the UK before Christmas. But still, we don't think that people will really jump on that. So right now, I think it's a bit uncertain from our end exactly what's going to happen. We are running our Boxing Day campaign in the UK. If I look at previous year's data, we usually see sort of a good spike in traffic on that day, so quite some interest. But as I said, based on this year, we have learned that we need to be super agile and we need to look at very small windows. So we do not expect anything to be like last year. We are really ready to change or sort of jump on a new train if that comes along, because we do not think that anything's going to be like last year.
Sounds good. Thanks for that then.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.